You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day and welcome to the Mushie Moment for May 27th, 2025. May is almost over. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Summer's almost here. Summer's almost here.
Oh, the song's done, sorry. I was going to keep dancing.
Looks like you already got summer going there. Look at the fan going on.
Yeah, man, I am menopausal age and hot flashes fucking suck.
Not for me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. How you doing?
Besides really warm at the moment, I'm pretty awesome. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome myself. We started out with rain today. It became beautiful sun. Took my little come here, Chikachoo. I'm just waking her up from a dead sleep. Took my little friend to the beach today.
Ooh.
Okay, you can lay back
I was
down.
out driving around in my Westphalia earlier. We've had nothing but sunshine here on today, Tuesday, May 27th. It's been absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna go out in the Westphalia afterwards too.
You should get a big Scooby-Doo sticker for the side of it.
I looked into having it wrapped like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine, and I would have done it except for it was way, 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 way infinity too much money.
Yeah, but it would have been so cool.
Sure. $10,000 to make it look really cool.
Ah, come on, a paintbrush, a couple cans of paint, you got it.
Canadian Tire sells
But I did look into it. It was but it was quite expensive, even to have it wrapped instead of painted, which used to be something that was much cheaper, was incredibly expensive. It was about $4,000 more to get it wrapped versus painted.
Yeah, they just saw that you could afford a Westphalia and figured you were Little Miss Moneybucks.
Yeah, right. The people only think that because it costs so much to get fucking parts. Like, it's insane. They have a new Westphalia out. They have remade the Westphalia. It does not have a pop top, and it's electric.
There's one that drives by here.
Yeah.
There's a little yellow one that comes by here every once in a while.
Oh, right on.
I've seen it. It is so cute. I wouldn't want it. I like the old ones.
Yeah, I like having the second floor. The second floor is definitely, like, extra sleeping room is definitely a bonus.
That's where you hang that thing that kills the mosquitoes because they go way up there.
That's just where you put your guests, right?
And then the mosquitoes don't come get you.
No, they bug the guest. Get that, Amy?
Yeah. Hey, what is that above your shoulder on the wall there?
Above my shoulder.
The other one. No, the other way. The other way. Yeah, what is that?
This is the giant leaf frog that produces combo.
And then isn't there 3 on there?
There is. Above that is the cane toad. The cane toad produces bufotine. And above that is the Bufo alvarius, which produces a tiny bit of bufotine, but it's famous for producing 5-MeO-DMT.
Wow.
Is that a good lead into today's guest?
I thought that was an excellent lead into today's guest.
Yes.
due to the fact that she has the Bufo Healing Sanctuary. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the awesome Mushie Moment podcast, Marla B. Lindner. Come on down.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. You guys are fantastic.
Thanks.
So fun.
Yeah, we try to have fun. What's the point in doing it if we can't have fun?
All right. Yeah, exactly. God, you got to have joy and fun in your life.
Yep.
Can't take anything too serious these days.
Well, the moment this becomes work, I'll have to quit.
Yep, I'm with him.
Yeah.
But the moment it becomes work means we'd actually be making money on the podcast. That'd kind of be cool.
Yeah. Well, or you hire people and then
Maybe
you can have fun.
Yeah. Let me rethink those words. Joe Rogan's 20 million.
There you go. This is where manifestation starts. Keep it going.
I just want Joe Rogan to show up in Canada and go, hey, you serve 5 MEO. You serve me. I'd be like, okay.
You're shaking with the lighter. Or you could train him. He can serve himself.
Wow. Bufo, the toad, the one that's on that same podcast that so many people speak of.
High-spirited Bufo. What an honor. Such an honor.
So, Marla, I know that Steve came across your name and your company in some of the healing groups that he's been in, and he sent your information to me. But, I always we always like to ask a certain question, which I didn't get to read in any of the information. It didn't tell me. I want to hear your story. I would like if you would tell us what brought you to working with psychedelic medicine.
So I had my first Bufo ceremony experience, and it was obviously transformational. It was big. It was big. And the original reason why I wanted to try Bufo was because I wanted to see what it felt like to be in interdimensional frequency bands. I didn't have the depth and knowledge at that time of how much healing power it really had. So I was taken back, like, whoa, okay. I was so nervous the first time I did it. So I met this guy on Facebook, and he was taking his daughter out. He had a video of taking her out for shooting at the shooting range. And I'm like, what a cool dad, to show his daughter how to protect herself. So I messaged him, and he explained what he did and who he was. And he was a former special ops and went through addiction and pain, and it led him to Ibogaine and then to Bufo. And I'm like, well, I want to hear more. I'm really intrigued. Something is pull, that pull wanting to, it was a pull. And we figured out a ceremony time, and he came to me and served medicine and stayed for like 3 days. And I had a couple ceremonies. We also did psilocybin, and it was that was the hard part for me. Was that Bufo was easy compared to that. My shroomy experience that one was harder for me. So, but the experience, the ceremony, I had such a loving, safe container where I could release, and some things came through for healing that I needed to do, and that led me then eventually wanting to train and become a facilitator. And at that point, when I decided to train and become a facilitator, that's when I started Bufo Healing Sanctuary right away. Like I knew, because I can see timelines ahead. I knew I had to be part of that. So that's when I started my website. So it was in the process of deep manifestation skills happening at that point, because I already did a lot of energy work, and I work with energy, frequencies, sounds, symbols, codes, and lights help with people's energy. It's more of a bio-spiritual healing that I was doing before Bufo. And I study dimensions and harmonic universes, stargates, portals. So that's why I wanted to do Bufo. So that's what led me to there. Thank you.
Wow. Very interesting.
What led you to the work you were doing before the Bufo?
So I have a wellness story. So in 2020, I had I was just waking up at that point of learning what was going on in the world. I was really clueless otherwise. And at that point, I had a bowel obstruction and I had to have emergency surgery. And through that, I went off of I was on Lexapro for about, close to, right after my son was born. So we're talking like 18 years on an antidepressant that I didn't think, like, I feel pretty good. I need to get off. So after the surgery, I cold turkey went off of Lexapro. And I also came down with candida from that surgery. You know, years and years ago, I had a weight loss surgery. And when you have a weight loss surgery, and I was a weight loss surgery fail, I gained the weight back, but it produced scar tissue, and that was the bowel obstruction, with scar tissue in the bowel. And that also led to a high level of yeast after the surgery, and I had candida. And so nobody was around to help me. I had to learn how to heal myself for 3 months. So I went on a really strict diet. I went on the candida diet. And after surgery, I was very sick. And it was a combination probably of cold turkey, letting go of the medicine, and also the candida in combination. And also anesthesia, because I work with wellness, and that has a lot of heavy metals. So all those components and parasites, I was so sick. So that led me into wellness and how to heal myself. I lost 65 pounds on the candida diet. And started to lower the levels of yeast in my gut. And some people don't know this, but we have about 90% of serotonin in our gut, and that it's connected to our brain. So there's a lot of components here with serotonin factors and heavy metal detoxing and parasites and the yeast. So that's what led me to on my own healing journey. I did not get help until 3 months into this. And I saw finally a chiropractor that was recommended by a health practitioner. They wanted to do a biopsy on the yeast, and I'm like, I'm not. Yeah, I was done with that. I had a lot of death in my family. Medical practitioners kind of failed me. Not all, but I was leery. So excuse me?
Understandably.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what I did was I went on the diet. I got some chiropractic skills. I did some lights. We did frequency medicine, and that's where I started learning about frequency. And then that led me into, besides healthy, I detoxed my entire existence. I got rid of plastics and cookware, the Teflon. Electromagnetic fields. I went and tested everywhere in my house how to protect myself from those energy forms. And then I eventually got hold of a pulsed electromagnetic field healing device. It's a very expensive device, and I really technically wanted it for my son because he's had now 8 knee surgeries, and so I wanted him to lay on this mat to start healing him. Little did I know it'd really be for me. It's cellular. It's like a spiritual mat. It's expensive, but it's my health. I don't have health insurance. I take care of my own health. So the mat heals DNA and helps with the yeast. I brought the frequency up. High frequency is for health, as you know, because you've worked with frequency and vibration and sound therapy too. So I just kept growing and growing into, I had DNA activation while I was healing, and that started, I started to hum. This humming started to come out of me. And then I realized, oh my God, I did some research in a spiritual sense. And what was happening was I was doing etheric surgery in the realms within our auric fields. There's these fields called the morphogenetic field, and our energy fields are connected to this mass field of morphogenetic fields. So we have inner chakras in my studies and my beliefs, and outer chakras too that are connected to this frequency. And so when I started humming, I'm starting to heal myself too in energy points where they're stuck, where you have heavier metals and areas where you can't release pain and suffering, so the humming sound of frequency starts to open energy points. So I use that in my practice now. Same with sound tools. It's sound of frequency healing.
Oh, everything in the end is energy, which its vibration is frequency.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Everything in the end is a frequency.
It is everything. Words hold frequency. Symbols hold frequency. Light holds frequency. Food holds frequency. Illness holds frequency. Everything is frequency. And energy can't be destroyed. It can only be shifted, transmuted, transduced, and changed and shifted in a form. And that's part of the practice, is how to alchemize your own soul and bring the love back into your life and alchemize anything negative with mind control. And I teach some of these teachings with a program that most of us are connected to, called the Victim Victimizer and Rescuer program. It's a psychological, energetic program that's connected to the earth grids. And so I teach people how to release these programs that cause constant mind looping. And the mind looping that can't escape your mind causes soul fragmentation. And then that causes some kind of karmic energy, and it boomerangs back where it's going to come back to you again, and you're going to have to fix this and heal it and transmute your energy and transform it to heal. And this is part of the ascension. And this is what I help people with transformational integration soul coaching after a psychedelic experience, or even biospiritual. If people don't want to do sacred medicine, we do a different route of healing through the frequency devices and organic devices I use, along with, detoxing wellness. I teach that. I guide that too. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be healing people. I guide people to heal themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, through my own traumas that I've gone through. And my own
healing. We stand up and show people how we've healed ourselves, in hopes that some of the tools will resonate with them. So they can come along and pick up the tools and learn from us how to work them, and build their own bridge to their own healing. And we don't heal others, we heal ourselves, and we share that knowledge.
That's right. You beautifully said, because that is the true teachings of what we're supposed to be doing. We walk in the fire, we embody, and then we transmute and change and shift into spirit, and then share. That is our purpose. That's my purpose in life. This is school. Yep. All the knowledge that I've learned, all the pain, all of it, I see it now as a gift. So there's gifts walking through this.
Yeah, and that's a hard part to walk through.
So hard. It's so painful.
Like to say, okay, I am grateful for my traumas. I am grateful for the pain I have lived in the past, because it has now given me those tools to use now and to help others, to show others so they can then help themselves. And finding that gratitude for that pain is, whew.
Yeah, and that's over. It's painful. Walking in it, it's so painful. I can't even tell you how many times I sat in my shower crying, snot everywhere. And it wash away your pain, wash it, cleanse it. It's very cleansing being in water. So I tend to release a lot in water, and some breath, and then also working in the realms. I work in that high frequency realm. I work in the 12th dimensional frequency. So it's pretty high up there. And to be able to see the gifts through the pain, that's when you release the programming. You have an understanding that our parents, those generations, they had trauma too. They didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how to comfort us. They didn't know how to listen, how to embody feelings and emotions and sensations, and how to shift it and walk the path of empowerment. They only knew how to be the victimizer, or then be the rescuer. And so I have found these components to be very healing for people, and working with coaching, integration coaching, with that foundation of the deprogramming people, pretty much, and how to do that energetically. And because I've walked it, I've done it, it worked.
Yeah.
And I use medicine, but initially I didn't use medicine, so sacred medicine, but now I do. So, and it ebbs and flows. I've heard people start doing their medicine journey and then they stop and switch, so life is very fluid.
It is.
Especially in this matrix, and it's a whole, we make it what we want. When you have high frequency, you can manifest quicker too. We all need to manifest what our hearts desire. And that's part of sacred medicine. It pulls you to what your heart desires, doesn't it, Cindy?
Well, it helps to open your eyes to your true self.
Mm-hmm.
And, speaking from my own experience and my own self, I've spent a lifetime wearing masks because of my traumas and, which led to my addictions and et cetera, et cetera. And I find it even hard these days to not wear a mask. My first stage in learning and being my true self is just like, okay, when I am home alone, that's when I can take them all off. There's nobody here to try and, tiptoe around their feelings or accommodate for them or I can just be me for me. So I've spent the last, I'd say 6 to 8 months working on that and sitting in observation of who is Cindy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly healing and eye-opening to sit with yourself alone in silence and listen to yourself and say, okay, tell me who you are. Tell me what we should be doing. If I'm to speak to all of my parts, and if we can take the hurt and the fear and put it aside, who am I? And, it has started to come out, and it's really beautiful. And then it takes courage. It takes courage and it takes determination and really confidence to say, okay, I'm ready to show the rest of the world. And that takes a lot. And that's a very hard part. It's one thing to open up to yourself, but then to turn around and say, okay, I know who I am now, and to put it out for the rest of the world to see it's a scary step. And we do that when we step into service. Okay, we've done some medicine, we've done some healing, we're working through it. We've heard a call that says, share your knowledge, share your tools, hold space for others. And we are discovering that as our true self. And now we've got to go put ourselves out there in a world that kind of looks at this stuff, like kind of goes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Because we really are in the 3%. And I think I'm over exaggerating that 3%. We might be at 2% now, 2.5% of the human population follows this way, does this medicine, believes in this. And, so it's a hard battle. We are walking uphill. And I think it's an incredibly important battle to have, and to have people with the true heart in it, truly wanting to help others is what is definitely needed in this industry.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. You're alone. We're alone. It's a lonely path being in shamanic medicine. It really is, because it's very unique. And it's a real honor to do it, but you give a lot. It's a very selfless type of service to humanity. And I'm never alone. I feel very guided. And I know you do too, or we wouldn't be here together. So finding communities that are similar in your beliefs, is finding those communities where you have a lot of love and a lot of support. So, and because it's growing, and the ones that truly hold the medicine so sacred in my eyes and have strong spiritual integrity and code of conduct and safety protocols in place are the ones that will be the leaders in this, that eventually could be the protocols for the future governments. We create the protocols for them, because where else are they going to go? Are we going to have government protocols? How are they going to know if they haven't walked this? Not only that, it's bringing in tribes. That's a big thing for me, is bringing in the ancestors of medicine, because like tobacco was the first medicine, and I honor the different tribes and all the 4 directions of where all the different medicines come from, because of I'm a believer of the eagle on condor prophecy, and it's getting close to that prophecy has been fulfilled, but it extends from what I've been taught is 5 years out of the prophecy. So it extends out when the earth is woken up, and all the medicines come together, and each medicine holds its place too, and needed at specific times. I'm getting to know Wachuma very well. Wachuma is a beautiful medicine, and for your viewers, because you guys probably know this, your viewers probably know this too. The grandfather medicine, it's heart expansion. It's kind but bold. I just went through some really deep healing after I went through this traumatic pain. Wow. It humbled me, and I had like a birthday, a spiritual birthday, and I heard the words. I heard it loud and clear. And what happened was, after this experience and releasing so much shame and guilt from me being the victimizer for a while in my life, I let go of the shame and forgave myself. And I woke up and heard, and I've never read the Bible ever in my entire existence, you guys. I heard Corinthians 43 in my ear, and I'm like, okay, what's sight? Because I have the clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyance. I have a lot of clairs, so I'm like, okay, let's go to Google. I looked it up, and 1543 Corinthians came in. It was about a death and a rebirth, and I knew I had arrived. And so it was a very significant moment, and it just happened recently. And so that embodiment, I can feel full love for people, and I don't have to defend myself. I let go of that programming. My program has ended, and so now I have stepped in full embodiment, and I can start walking side by side and guide in fullness.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's big responsibility, but I'm not scared. I feel I'm excited for the future. Yeah.
Steve, it's a good time, Steve.
Oh, hey, it's time for us to take a break, visit our sponsors, and maybe smoke a joint if you want to. We'll take that little break right now. See you in a few minutes. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Camelford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Camelford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Camelford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And we're back here on the Mushie Moment, May 27th, 2025, with Marla B. Lindner from the Bufo Healing Sanctuary.
That's right. Healing one life at a time, right?
You know what?
Guiding them to heal themselves.
Your story. I got a question about your story. You said the mushroom part was tough, and I got.
Oh God, man, Steve, that was okay. So my first experience was fantastic, and I was like in my 20s, and then I had another experience. I was probably I was still in my 20s, getting a couple years out, and then this last one, and that was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't the greatest. And then this one was so painful. So we had my second Bufo ceremony. He's like, okay, do you want to do shrooms? I'm like, sure. And I had some. My son's really cool. He's into psychedelics too. And so, in fact, I saw his grow tent on one of your advertising, and the soil too, the Fox Farm. So familiar with that's a great soil. So my son was there too when I had my bad mushroom trip. So what he did, we had gold, I think it was is it golden ruler, golden teacher, yeah, and then penis envy. I think he might have mixed the two, and then he did it in lemon juice, so it would be 3.5 hours. Yeah, and so this is after Bufo, and I don't know, because so I did it, and I had a trash can in front of me for 3.5 hours. I thought it was
so. You did 3.5 grams combined.
No, I only did one. I just asked him. I said, "How much did I do?" And he's like, "About a gram." And I was really sick after.
But it's like half a gram of golden and half a gram of penis envies, correct? And then he lemon teched it, which makes it stronger. By the way, it helps it hit faster and stronger. Okay. And then if you did it directly after 5. Which you've probably learned by now, doing mushrooms after 5, mushrooms appear to be about twice as strong. So you've now taken your little 1 gram and turned it into 4.
I saw so that was a heroic dose.
Almost, yeah. You were about the equivalent of a gram off of a heroic dose. Yeah.
I said to my son, I go, Jonas, you got to stop. He's like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is. And I did see the devil there, and I had a trash can. Nothing would come out. I'm like, I just want relief. I was in so much pain, and it could have been because of the candida in my gut. Yeah, it could have been that. So I'm like, oh gosh, and I felt so bad for him because, he's doing his experience too, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm having a bad trip. I'm dying here, and I couldn't leave the room because I couldn't even walk. Nothing would come out. Nothing. I couldn't even.
You're making me think of my combo experiences, right?
Oh my gosh. By the time I'm like, how much longer? How much longer? And then I'm like, okay, something's changing. Now I can walk. I can go outside. But it was I'm looking at the grass and I'm like, it was just not a comfortable feeling. The lemon juice, I can't do it ever again. But no, I did actually. What I did was I did microdosing. Microdosing. And that was okay, but if I did too much, then the stomach aches happened again. And I did notice with Wachuma, because I did, each resin capsule has about 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams in each capsule, and I did 5. by the time I was getting off of my all day being in medicine with Wachuma, I started to feel a little that tummy thing. I know it's clearing. I know it's healing it. So I stated, I did Wachuma. I weaned into doing all of that because I needed to see what it was. Now I did also Changa. Have you done Changa?
I haven't had opportunity to do Changa yet.
Hey, Steve, you have?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I actually really did. I did it in Mexico. And the first time I did it, we were in the upper part of a hacienda, whatever you want to call it, but it had the windows open and the wind was going. And there was trees around with the leaves going. And when I did it, I had no idea what to expect. I'd done mushrooms, I've done acid, I've done a lot of drugs and psychedelics in my lifetime, but I had no idea what to expect with it. And the first experience, I just went for the ride, but I recognized something. I was like, oh, my brain wanted to trace what it was I was recognizing. So the second time I went in an analytical mode rather than an experience mode. And what I realized is, as an audio guy, I look out for phasing. So you have microphones in wrong places, or if you want the effect of phasing, that sound, you do certain things for it. And what I found was, with the wind going outside and the leaves and the waves and everything, as soon as I'd smoked it, I could hear the phasing. I recognized it was like, oh, that's the sound of phasing. So in my own concept, I was shifting my frequency, or the medicine was shifting my frequency, which is changing the phasing. When you shift that frequency, that's the phase sound, right? So I just noticed that, oh, this phases me to somewhere else. This is actually my frequency.
Yeah, it's shifting you to a different dimensional frequency band. And you felt it.
Oh, it was amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I like behind the scenes and how what's going on when you're in a different dimension. I love that, because we have all these different, like Changa brought me to elementals. I saw praying mantis were dancing around me. They were shaped, I knew they were praying mantis and they were yellow and they're dancing around me. And someone in a previous interview was like, what were they doing? And I'm like, they were doing some kind of etheric surgery to me, doing some healing on me. And that, from what I've learned, is those are elementals, the praying mantis. We have these lineages of alien races or extraterrestrial races, whatever you want to call it, that are in these frequency bands. So when you're doing these psychedelics, we're seeing people see like clowns and jokers and things like that too. So, but I heard, I've only done Changa like 5 times and it's never gotten back to the praying mantis. And I did like that. It was cool to see that. It was very, and depending on the music too, you feel the frequency of the music bouncing.
People have said they've been to that dimension with the mantis on NNDMT as well.
Yeah, because the Changa I have has DMT in it. Yeah.
Yeah, the NN will definitely show you or allow you to see the entities.
And what was that at the end? Did you say
NDMT?
Oh, yes. That's
it'll allow you. It'll open up that third eye, so you can actually see the entities that walk with you. It's incredible.
It's so true. It's like you don't know them because we're in a lower frequency band here on Earth, but we're on a rise. Consciousness is rising, so it is happening, and it's really amazing times where we're at.
I find
we picked great ones. We picked a great time in medicine, and we picked a great time through music as well through our lifetime.
Oh yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. What were you saying, Cindy?
Oh, I was just going back to the NN. I usually see spirit animals when I partake, but now I'm onto the music realm with Steve here.
Yeah, music is really important for psychedelic.
It is. Yeah.
Each type of music holds its own, like with ceremony and for Bufo, is very different than Changa, and same with like breath work is very different with, breath is medicine too. So people that are no longer doing psychedelics or don't feel connection, then breath is a good medicine, and other modalities too. I just stumbled. I went to a 4-day retreat myself where it was so healing, and then it went into leadership skills and coaching too, and it was transformational, that breath work. It was
it a Groff, one of the Groff's teachings, or
it was I went through Aurea, and I went through they had a lot of speakers there, that are well connected to a lot of different things, with ancient mystery schools. And one person that I feel very drawn to with the teachings, because I follow Keylontic science. I don't know if you've ever heard of Keylontic science, but Dr. Samuel Lee, he's in psychedelics. He's a psychiatrist. I think he worked in psychiatry or psychology. He has his PhD nonetheless, and we studied the same Keylontic science. So I knew that it would be my kind of crowd when he was supposed to be talking. So I went. This was in Austin.
What is Keylontic science?
Excuse me?
What is Keylontic science?
Keylontic science is the study of light, sound, frequency, codes, energy. It's also just the beginning of that is just a portion of Keylontic science. These are teachings that were given to us from our original ancestors. These are hidden teachings of the galactics. This is, we're talking the Emerald Order. You've heard of the Emerald Tablets?
Yeah.
We're talking in that category of galactic history. We have electric wars. We have a lot of different galactics that are, you look out, use your own discernment with different councils and things like that. But we are getting to the point of disclosure here of a lot of things. In these teachings, we learn about sun lineages, because a lot of the tribes say we come from the sun, and this is sun lineages. And there are certain type of lineages called the indigos. And the indigos, I'm an indigo. And these teachings are not part of any type of, they're not New Age, because New Age teachings are kind of spiritual bypassing. They don't teach how to heal and go in. This is actual teaching you how to heal on your own with light, symbols, codes, frequency. It brings you into different visuals with meditations. And so this is actually bio-spiritual healing, because I've done it. It works. I do it. And so I teach it. And it resonates with people. It doesn't, so be it, right? To each their own. But that's what Keylontic science is all about, the history of our galactics and how ancient teachings of the Maharata. You've heard of Lionsgate Portal? You know the Sphinx in Egypt?
Yep.
That's Stargate 4. So we're talking stargates, we're talking portals, we're talking ascension codes, we're talking about human DNA. This is activation. This is what I study, is all that. So I help people activate their DNA, their dormant DNA that was taken away from them. So there was a energy force that came in and recoded us. They scrambled our DNA so we couldn't get activated, but now we can with specific teachings. So that's what I do. That's one of my passions. This is who's my guides, part of the guides that are connected to this system.
It's really interesting. You had us both just sitting here watching and listening when you were explaining that.
Just listening to it can be activating. It's deep. It's complex. Some people need to, when they want to learn about it, you have to go kind of slow, because it's complex. To actually comprehend the teachings is in itself activating. So where are you in your activation and everything? These teachings are the teachings, the original teachings. They're connected to the Essene tribes, the 12 tribes of it's called the Christos realignment mission. It's bringing our DNA back. It's teaching you how to have a Merkaba. You've heard of a Merkaba? It's your interdimensional. A Merkaba is your
new words for me.
Yeah, Merkaba is your interdimensional travel system. It's how we can travel. Because this is the study of consciousness as well. And so this is why I wanted to try Bufo, because I wanted to go interdimensional and see how it felt and compare my teachings with sacred medicine, and it's there with our ancestors too. And so there is your DNA is getting activated in sacred medicine, guaranteed. There's no doubt about it, and this is why people are healing through it. We're connected to the grid systems. We have a lot of grid systems in the earth, like ley lines and.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with sun activation on the DNA.
Yeah.
Between the eyes being an extense of the brain and the color activation of what it does within our body and the codes it tells for mitochondria and testosterone and the mechanics of how it works and putting it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're stepping into an area I'm not familiar with, but I will be soon.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I just went and did a massive TikTok live. One of my videos went viral. I had close to 150,000 people. It went viral, so now I can go live on TikTok and start my teaching. So I'm really
nice
about it. Yeah, because this is part of my leading is to share these teachings. You know, they're all over the social media, these teachings. So I finally get to be able. I did teach a group or guide a group free about some of these teachings. We're connected in consciousness to different planetary systems and lineages, and
there is only oneness. We're connected to everything.
We're just connected.
Yeah, we're all connected. I hurt me, I hurt you. And this is why it's important to heal, because we love one another.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really important. And people, I had learned the hard way that people who have trauma, we have to, if we do coaching with them, integration coaching, it's going at it with a lot of love, a lot of kindness, because I was so stern with things, so I had to shift gears. I had to learn to be softer and kinder because it's a reflection of myself. I had to be kind and loving and forgiving of myself. I needed to do that first. He agrees.
Is that a little Frenchie?
Yeah, he's a Boston Terrier Pug mix.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll put him on. Hey, you want to come on? This is Enzo.
Hello, Enzo.
His photo was in the ad.
Yeah, he's a good dog. He's here. Look at that. It's hard because with working with Memorial, I work with people who passed. I've gone through a lot of loss with my Memorial jewelry business. There you go. So it's hard to detach from our animals, our loved ones, and rightfully so, because we're connected still in our fields. We'll always have a connection to them. So I don't talk about this with my customers. That heaven's right there. That's where I work. I work in that field, in that realm. So, but for your viewers to have a comfort in knowing that they're right there, it just takes time. What they want is you to heal so you can feel the frequency of them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because if you're still in your own trauma, it's harder. Your frequency is lower, And so you won't be able to feel the energy as much. But you're deep in spirit. They're right there guiding you. And this is part of letting go of control. And medicine and healing does let you have some trust, have some faith. Let go of the control so you can be led. Our ancestors can see ahead. They want to guide you to your soul and what your soul needs.
Wow. Can I ask you about this one?
Sure. So sacred flower toques came from my experience when I moved here to Texas. I was going through a trauma response, and I was in a really bad place emotionally. I had just lost my dog, another dog. And I was selling my house. I was worried about my finances. I was renting this house and then paying for another mortgage. And I was still working with another church that I was creating, and I was leaving that church too. And I was learning to focus on my boundaries with people. And so with everything in unison, I was using THC, but it was too many chemicals in the vape pen. And I was having a reaction, and I needed some kind of soothing, because we know this addiction is about self-soothing. And so I'm like, I want to do something that soothes. So, and I wanted it to be this, I'm like, I don't smoke cigarettes. And I was doing the THC, and I wanted to feel a level of euphoric. I wanted to have relief. So I created the sacred flower toques and herbal blends of organic, non-GMO flowers and herbs to smoke instead. So they're pre-rolled. And I have over 25 different blends. It's now on Bufo Healing Sanctuary, all those toques. So eventually I will phase out some websites. You got it? There you go. Oh, you got it. Okay.
So is this stuff that can be shipped? I mean, can we order some of this, some of these up here in Canada and have them shipped, or are they? Yeah. Do they have herbs that can't go over the border?
No, they're not psychoactive. They do have Blue Lotus has a euphoric feeling, but they're not.
That can be shipped.
Yeah, they're not psychoactive. There's no THC. There's no cannabis in it either. And so it's all flowers and herbal blends, and they're pre-rolled. So and some are, so, and I wasn't sleeping well either. So when I started doing the toques, I was getting relief, and I'm like, okay, it was just whatever chemicals in some of these vapes, aren't good for you.
No, they're not.
I'm going to do a vape pen. It has to be the pure THC, which I do have and I use, but sometimes it causes anxiety with some people. So this was another way. And it also helps for quitting smoking too, like regular chemical cigarettes or regular chemical vapes too. So that's why I did this, to help. But there's risks involved with anything you put in your lungs out of smoke. So, I post that. People can use their own discernment and what they need and what they want.
Yeah.
Well, I love some of these. There's a place out in Vancouver where Steve lives that they sell some, I think there's 5 different blends that they have. And I'm an ex-smoker. I haven't had a cigarette since, good Lord, 2012. No, earlier than that, 2009, I think.
Good for you.
Yeah, and that was I've been addicted to a lot of things, and it was one of the hardest ones to quit, to be honest. But I still love getting these. They look like a cigarette, but they have Blue Lotus or Amanita or some beautiful herb or flower that can be smoked and give benefit. And
right, see, that's the key. Is I wanted it to have benefits. Like mullein is good for the lungs, so you're inhaling. So, and there's lavender, I do use some with a little bit of vanilla. There's peppermint, there's spearmint, there is chamomile. There's so many different blends that I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have sacred flower hoax and what was that? Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm talking to him.
I'm picking up
thought, but
yeah, I thought you were talking to the toad. It's funny you pointed that because when I moved here to Texas, like the second night a toad showed up. And my neighbor's like, toads never show up here, and so it showed up 2 nights in a row, and then it went away and it showed up reading my door sign next to my little gnome I had, and then the next toad was at the front door waiting to come in.
Wow.
And then just recently, I'm like, gosh, I really miss my toads. I would like to see another toad. The next night, I got my toad. So,
one of my best friends bought a house very, very close to me, and she moved from like a 40-minute drive to like a 5-minute drive away, right? And the first night that she moved in there, that I went over to visit, there were toads in her driveway, and it was like, these are not toads that I can get any medicine from, but they're
right.
Toads. They look like little tiny miniature versions of Bufo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just a standard toad.
Yeah, it was just the cutest thing, and it was so cool to see the toads there when she was moving in.
Oh, it is. They're really cool, and I think that I spiritually, we have their DNA in us. They kind of recognize, oh, yeah. But we do have plant and animal DNA already in us. Even if we didn't do Bufo, we have those markers in us. Same with nicotine.
Yep.
So it makes you wonder, our DNA, what we're made of. We're made of.
Well, it was so easy to get everybody addicted to those Virginian chemical cigarettes, right?
That's the money maker for the companies. The monstrosity and what they want from us. Yeah, because in my studies we have humans are very special.
So I need to break in and do that producer thing again and say, hey, Steve.
Hey, it's that time. We're getting to the end of the show. I'm putting up right now, I've got the bufohealingsanctuary.com. Is there any last few things you want to say to people? Is this the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are interested in having a private ceremony, or we're going to be starting our group ceremonies, we go through a extensive prep and discovery call. And then we do integration after. If you're interested in you feel pulled to this medicine and want to do some deep healing, and not only sacred medicine, but energy medicine, and get to know, all the modalities that I offer, please contact me. I'd love to work with people that are wanting most definitely, and needing a shift if they're feeling stuck in life and no direction and have some trauma. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. You guys are really cool.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
cool
and stick around. We'll have a chat after we end do the closing credits and whatnot.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Cindy, for hanging out with me. Thank you, everybody else, for coming on and logging on and saying hi. We'll see you next week. Much love. Happy healing.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.